Good evening, everybody. Kimberly Olson here, and I am very happy to share with you that we're going to get started with our interview with mompreneur Lizzy Newton. I'm going to go ahead and bring her on in a minute, but I wanted to give you guys a little idea of what we're going to be talking about. So I'll give her a second to hop on. So Lizzy is somebody that we've already got people hopping on. Okay, great. I'll go ahead and add her in. I think it was just going to let me do it, but let me go ahead and try to add her on, and we'll go ahead and dive in. Let's see. And you guys have seen me do this before. Why does it do that? If somebody knows oh, here we go. Okay, I think that will do the trick. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, so I see some people hopping on. I can't see the comments. I tried adding you, Lizzy. I don't know if it's gonna let me. Let me try again. It says sent. So allow your viewers. So if you guys can totally see me right now, can't you? Okay. Lizzy, are you there? Okay, let me try something real quick, guys. Get a little close up here. Hold on one second. I'm so sorry. A little technical difficulty. My phone's been giving me some problems. Okay. Oh my gosh, there it was, and then it's gone. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hi. I can see some comments. Okay, good. Lizzy, if you can comment. There's a delay, so I'll just talk for a second. We'll get her on. So Lizzy is a mompreneur, and I'm going to get a chance to interview her. So if you guys are watching this live, go ahead and drop a 1 in the comments. If you're watching the replay, drop a 2. If you're new and you've never seen Lizzy or myself, put new in the comments. And if you share this, we want you guys to share this. Oh, there you are. We want you guys, oh, here we go, Lizzy. We want you guys, let's see if I can get this freaking thing to work. Yay! I always get so excited when I can finally figure it out. Hi. And then I watched the replay. I'm like, oh, that was pretty close that y'all got to see up my nose. It's great. So anyways, here's Lizzy, everybody. And I'm so excited to have her on because we go way back to, we met a couple years ago in our Fearless Moms church group at Lake Hills Church. We both live here in Austin. And we were actually both pregnant at the same time with our second. So we were in that very kind of bonding together over that. But I was instantly drawn to her because she is just so passionate about her life and her family, and just like, look at her, she's always happy, and I just love her energy. So I was really excited for the opportunity to talk to her a little bit about her life and the balance that she's created with having a business and being a mom. And for those that are watching, really the goal is to speak to your hearts, and I'm hoping that she can give you some confidence and some hope if you've maybe had some fear, or you thought, you know, it's not the right time to go after something that I'm passionate about. She's going to share how she's been able to do it. And so if you guys are watching this live, drop a 1 in the comments. If you're watching the replay, drop a 2. If you're new to me, I'm Kimberly Olson, and this is Lizzy Newton. If you're new to either one of us, put new in the comments. And if you share this, please share this. For anybody that you know, just put it on your page. It can be a great way for them to be inspired. So if you've got any moms in your life, or people who've got maybe even animals and they're trying to find a way to make it work, please share this with them. So without further ado, Lizzy, thank you for being here and spending the time with us. So why don't you start? Tell me a little bit about yourself. As far as you're a mom, you have 2. If you can share a little bit about that, and just kind of the transition that got you, obviously motherhood, and then got you into running your own business.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for asking me to do this. I was just so humbled and honored and grateful that you thought of me. And it just really touches my heart that you said that, you know, what connected us together, just that passion. And I'll be honest with you guys that doesn't come from, you know, a life of ease. I feel like passion is created when you live a life of persevering through trial, and I would say that my life has been mile marked by a lot of trial, tragedy, and tribulation. And So that passion that you see has been birthed from that, and it's been a lot of years in the making, and we can get into that a little bit more too later. But for the present moment, I am a wife to the most wonderful husband. His name is Whitney, and we have two young kiddos. We have a 3.5-year-old boy named Carter, and actually she just turned 2, a 2-year-old daughter named Taylor. And they're absolutely beautiful, and we're so grateful to be their mom and dad and to live this life with them. And so so Kimberly and I were chatting that, I had both of our kiddos before I felt the desire and that calling to start my own business. And I would say that was kind of birthed out of my desire to get healthy. I don't know if you, as a mom out there, if you're watching or you don't yet have kiddos, how it seems like it's always a constant, I don't want to say struggle, but it's like a constant effort and journey to be healthy. And so that's kind of where I was going personally, and what I felt like I had that responsibility on my heart to share what helped me get healthy in my life as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, as a daughter of God, like Kimberly said, that we met through our Fearless Mom church group that we absolutely love and adore. And so that was like the beginning point for me.
That's awesome. So when you decided that you wanted to share, were you thinking, now I found success and I found a way? Because we both have gone through the same path where our kids are about 1.5 years apart. And it's crazy because when you're pregnant, and then if you're nursing, it's back-to-back pregnancies like that, it really does, I don't even want to say take a toll, but it's really hard to put yourself first, like to eat healthy and make yourself food, and you're just thinking about these other little people. So when you noticed that, did you feel that, wow, I found a way to do that successfully, I want to share it with people? Or was it more you felt like you wanted to contribute in a different way outside of being a mom?
Yeah, I would actually say both. And I guess I'll kind of rewind a little bit to what we talked about in the very beginning. So for me, I lost my mom when I was in high school, and that was that very first life-changing moment for me where my life was just on a completely different trajectory than most kids my age. And that was so hard for me. She was my rock, my person, my everything. And so after that had happened, I honestly just tried to find my way, wherever I kind of, whichever wind blew. And then after that, six years later, actually almost to the day, is when I lost my sister. And so I was pretty beaten down in a moment in life, I guess, just being super transparent with y'all, because I have actually been praying about a platform to share their story and mine. But I was just at a point in my life where I just couldn't take one more loss. I thought and prayed to myself, if this is it, and how am I supposed to continue on living without the two most important women in my life, my best friends? And so that for me was my rock bottom moment in my life. And maybe some of you've been there, but maybe you haven't hit that moment, and maybe you will, but maybe you won't. And I pray that you don't ever have to go through such tragedy that I've walked through in such a short period of time. But if you do, just know that there's hope, because that moment in my life was when I came to the end of me and just surrendered my life, and that started my faith journey. And honestly, that is what changed everything for me. And from that moment, that was January 2011, that's when I felt like I started to climb out of that dark hole that really had consumed most of my life and my joy. And that's just looking back over the last 7 years is where I've just noticed the patterns of really digging in and choosing what I like to call grit over quit, because it takes a conscious choice. It's easy to get to a point in life, no matter what battles you're dealing with, to just want to hit the I'm done button. I can't take one more fall. And so, but that's where that develops, that perseverance over and over and over again, when you choose to just get up after you've fallen down time and time again. And so for me, after I guess the first anniversary of my mom and my sister, that their passing, is when I just made a conscious decision that I at that time I would focus on 5 things, and the 5 were you know, how's my spiritual health? How's my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health, and as a woman, my social health? Because we're women of communities, and we really thrive in those environments. And so those were kind of my 5 checkpoints. And then from that developed, you know, I had met my husband, or then, you know, my then fiance, boyfriend, now husband, and we got married and had the most beautiful marriage. And I really felt like I had come a long way with battling my depression and my anxiety. And I've talked about this some on my personal page as well, that it really has been a journey of overcoming. And I thought I was doing well, but as you all know, if any of you have been through grief, it comes in waves and circles. And so it wasn't until I became a mom, and so this kind of connects the 2 stories, that after I had our son, our first, that I got really bad postpartum depression. And that's when I was like, goodness, it just seems like it keeps happening and happening.
Yes. Yeah, I've been there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one thing too that I'm super passionate. One of my missions is to break those stigmas, because as moms, we work so hard to sustain the lives of these young babies, and we're just giving all of ourselves, like just like sacrificing every single thing. I say, if you thought you were selfish, like wait till you have kids, because you just have to give your whole life away. And but honestly, that's when you fall into those pits of not taking care of yourself. And then you add in all the hormone changes, and then you're not sleeping, and then your body's trying to heal from a traumatic birth experience. And then the baby's trying to adapt. And so it's no wonder, it's like the culmination of all of those events, that no wonder a lot of women get postpartum depression and anxiety, because none of us know what we're doing, especially as first time moms. And so I just remember feeling that dark cloud set in again. And I was like, oh no, here I am again. Yeah. At this point, I can't give up, because someone's depending on me. And so I just remember again praying and thinking, like, this must just be temporarily, so that I realized that I had to walk through that so that I could help other people fight through that, because it's real, and it does consume your joy, and it does steal that bond that you get to have with your babies. And so, again, like, I just made that decision, and yes, a lot of support, community, Bible study women that cheered me on, that encouraged me to see a doctor if that was what was necessary. You know, there's so many things out there that we could share with you on if you are struggling with that now, or maybe in the future, or have in the past, that helped me get healthy. And so that again was another pattern of, okay, like, this is what I feel like I'm called to do to get healthy for me. And so fast forward, similar situation happened with our daughter when she was born 5 weeks early and in the NICU for 2 weeks, and just going through a really, really dark and hard time. And again, digging in to really just overcome that situation, and then encourage other moms to do the same. And so I would say from those things and those series of events is where I just kept finding myself in those spots, like, okay, I have a choice. I can, you know, lay down and this is just my life, and it's just so depressing and awful, and continue down that road, or I can choose to rise above and dig in and pray and form my community, and, you know, do the best that I can with what I've been given. And so that's kind of a long answer to your question.
Yeah.
But
no,
yeah.
That's awesome. And thank you for being so honest. Yeah. It's funny too, because when I joined Fearless Moms, we had found out in our second trimester we were having Elise, so we didn't have a lot of time mentally to prepare. And I used to work from home, so I would spend like 3 days a week with Addison. And I remember thinking, how am I going to do this with 2? Yeah. And then I felt really bad and guilty, because like I would just be excited for Scott to come home. And then when I got into Fearless Mom, and it's all moms, and so we have like lecture for an hour, and then we have small group for an hour, and so you've got your group, like 10 of us. And we were just completely honest. And that's when I realized, like, I wasn't alone, and it was okay. And I struggled with a lot of the things you struggled with. And I think, you know, as a mom, you have to kind of seem like you have it all together, especially, I don't want to say especially working moms, because I actually think it's harder to stay home. I've done both. Yeah, give me some hearts and likes if you guys put some hearts if you guys have stayed at home, because I think sometimes people think, oh, you just stay at home, and it's very difficult. By the way, if you guys are happy now and partway through, put a 1 in the comments if you're watching this live, put a 2 if you're watching the replay, put new in the comments if you've never heard myself or Lizzy before, and put shared if you share this, because I think we need to get this message out for sure. But myself personally, I was 8, and you know this because we were in small group together, but I was about 8.5 months pregnant with my second, and the company I was working for wasn't doing well financially, and they had to eliminate my territory, which it happens. But you know, what do? You're 8.5 months pregnant, and you just have that weight on your shoulders. And I remember just being awake at night, just sitting there worrying, like, what am I going to do? And imagine that stress and anxiety and all that going to my baby too. But you come out of that in this really uncertain position. And it was one of the hardest times of my entire life. And it's hard because you still have to get up every morning. You can't lay in bed like, oh, I feel so bad for myself. You have to get up because people need you. And I think it's amazing. It's really beautiful because of being a mom, I've been forced to step up. You know, I could have gotten away with it before, and I couldn't. And through all of this, I've become so strong with my faith and all of it because of these hard things that have happened to me. So I completely relate to what you're saying. Yeah. So tell me about your path to becoming an entrepreneur.
Okay, so yeah, that's perfect segue from where I sort of left off. So after I had our babies, I again was in a Fearless Mom lecture, and we were talking about raising healthy, happy, independent adult children. And as moms, if we want our children to be healthy, then, you know, it starts with us. And I was like, oh boy, I just felt immediately convicted. And I was like, I have some work to do. And it was kind of one of those moments. It's like, if not now, then when? And so that's what started my journey of really digging in and doing the work personally to get healthy. And I immediately, for me personally, and again, being super vulnerable, I know this is Facebook, but hey guys, like, if we're not being real and honest, like, and I'm out here on a mission to change lives and really help women come from darkness to light, because I know what it's like to live in that darkness. And so for me, I personally started seeing a Christian counselor who I love and adore. And so if you need someone and you're in Austin, I would totally be able to recommend her. But God did some miracle work in our time together, and I was able to walk through the loss of my mom and the loss of my sister and just all the life changes and all the moves and, you know, getting married and then having babies and the postpartum depression and anxiety and even my daughter's NICU. I mean, that I really did have like post-traumatic stress from that, just from that fear of what if I lose her. But that was that beginning of like, okay, God, like, I have to open my hands and surrender my children to you, because you made them, you love them better than I ever could provide for them better than I am ever able, and just trusting and walking in faith with that. And so I knew it was time for me to get healthy. I committed and went to see my Christian counselor. Loved her, had such a blessed time, miracle healing moment, just walking through all that, talking through all that, crying through all that, and realizing that he has been preparing me and bringing me through all of these things for a much greater purpose than I could even imagine. And I know that looks different for all of you, but that's kind of my story. And so from that point, I felt like I was getting, and I like to, in my business and with my clients and teammates, I like to talk about mind, body, and soul health. And so I felt like I was getting spiritually healthy and mentally and emotionally healthy. And for me at that moment, it was time for me to get physically healthy. And personally, I had a huge struggle with food. And I always say I was so thankful that I didn't have other addictions, because I know that's very real too, with alcohol or with drugs or with anything that basically takes the place of God in your life, that you reach out to for that, you run to for that refuge or that comfort, but maybe leaves you feeling empty. And so I was doing that with food. I was looking to food to make me feel better, or give me a hug, or you know what I mean? Those
absolutely.
And I gained a lot of toxic weight, and I just felt literally weighed down physically and mentally and all of those things. And so I knew it was time, once I had done the steps of laying the foundation, I was like, okay, I can really dig in and do the work that it's going to take for me to get physically healthy. Because as we all know, it is so tough when you just pile on the pound year after year. It just is like, where do you begin, especially with 2 young kids? And at the time, our youngest was 9 months and our son was barely over 2. And so so at that time I had simultaneously been praying, like, okay, I'm ready to get healthy, like, send me away. And that's where I felt God just was so gracious with me and connected me with one of my dear friends who shared, I call it a gift, and this is what literally transformed my physical health. And she shared with me about her health and wellness business and how she coaches people through a 30-day to healthy living program that focuses on clean eating, removing acidic, allergenic, addictive foods from your body, you know, pushing the stop button on putting the bad things in and eliminating the things that have been stored up in your liver and your kidneys and your digestive tract, and really focusing on healing the gut, which I never knew how important that was until I realized. Yeah, and we can talk more about that too, but the importance of probiotics and healing your gut and what you're putting in and what you're able to really digest and absorb. And so so she shared all about this with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I really want to do. It seems like it's an easy button I can push. I can implement this in my busy young mom life of 2 little babies. And I asked my husband, I said, do you want to do it with me? And he was like, he's like, I totally want to do it with you, because we laugh that he says he puts on sympathy weight from whenever I was pregnant. And so we both had kind of gotten out of control with our eating and with our bodies, and we knew we weren't really using food in the right way to serve our bodies. It was more sabotaging our health. And so that was how I started my journey of getting healthy personally. And it was during that time that when I was having my physical transformation, and I can share more details, but during the first 30 days, I was like, okay, I really want to lose weight. But when I had more clarity of thinking, I could sleep better at night. I had energy. I was off that roller coaster of depression and anxiety, clearer skin. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And then like 10th or 11th was like, oh yay. And I lost, 10 to 12 pounds. And I felt good in my clothes fit better. But for me, it was like I had this awakening of my physical health. And when, again, that mind, body, and soul coming together and just feeling amazing, it was like just this light was, lit in me. And that's when I jumped into my second round of doing that program. And from there, I was like, wow, I feel such a responsibility to share this with other women and men that are fighting that day-to-day battle of just the ups and downs, the crashes and the highs, and just making it through the day, trying to survive physically. And so that's where I made the decision that as scared as I was and as much out of my comfort zone as it was, I knew that I needed to get over me and take this leap of faith and share this with people. And don't think I didn't try to talk myself out of it, but because I thought I had arrived. I thought like, okay, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and like you said, it's the toughest job in the whole world, and we don't get paid for that. But it is such a blessing and a gift to be able to raise our babies. But no doubt it's hard, and so I thought I was where I was supposed to be, but no, God had so much more in store for me with being obedient, taking that leap of faith, starting my business, and sharing what transformed my health with others. And it's just been this beautiful ripple effect that has continued to keep going, and I'm just so grateful.
That's awesome. Okay, so of course we're all curious, and you probably don't know the backstory, but I have a private group called it's just a private group I do for people who want to transform their lives and be healthier.
Cool.
So eating healthy, exercising, we do a lot of mindset work, and so you kind of touched on all of that.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about sounds like it could be great, especially because we've got Thanksgiving, and then we've got the gap till Christmas, and then a lot of people are going to be looking to jumpstart in January.
Exactly.
Can you tell us what company that you're talking about that you joined, and then can you tell us what the program's called? Because I'm sure people want to connect with you if they don't already know somebody in your business.
Yeah, definitely.
So what is it?
So So I'm sure, like, knowing Kimberly, she has her own brand as a mompreneur as well, and so do I. And but the company that I partner with to get to share, this gift of health is called Arbonne, and we are a pure, safe, and beneficial company, vegan certified, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, no artificial sweeteners, those things, no mineral oil, pH balanced, and all of that is really important when you are focusing on detoxing the body and taking all the toxins out and putting good things in so that you give your body a chance to heal. And and what I do kind of I guess I talk in threes a lot.
That's okay.
We talk, what I do is I educate, I equip, and I empower. So I get to educate people about what they put in and on their bodies matters, and every bite makes a difference. And I know we live in this world where we're not going to be perfect 100% of the time, because honestly it's impossible. But we talk about an 80-20 rule. We talk about, but on the program, we set out those 30 days. So like you asked, what's the name of the program? It literally is called Arbonne's 30 Days to Healthy Living and Beyond. And so what we do is we educate you about, okay, let's take these things out. And I do, maybe that's something else we could do too, is I do like a 30-minute, not lecture, but program. Yeah, to basically.
Will you do that for anybody?
Yeah,
anybody
so
watching?
I basically go through, okay, let's remove this, and this is why, and these things are causing cancer, and these things are disrupting hormones, and this might be contributing to your thyroid issues, and this might be contributing to what's constantly making you gain weight, those kinds of things. And so, we train on what to take out, but then we talk about, okay, these are the nourishing, healing foods that you want to put in. And then additionally, it would be nice if we could all go and live on a farm and, harvest our own fruits and vegetables and raise our own chickens and cows. But let's be honest, we don't, and some of us can, but most of us can't. And so because of that, that's why I love the Arbonne supplements that are really healing to the body, such as we have an amazing product called Digestion Plus, which is my most favorite thing, because when your gut is healthy, then your mind is healthy. And for me, my mental health is so important. And we've talked a lot about overcoming depression and anxiety tonight. That's been the journey I've been on. And so we add that in as a supplement. We incorporate fiber into your diet, because most of us aren't getting enough fiber. We don't eat enough fruits and vegetables because we are so busy that we're, overfed and undernourished, and we're just on the go. And so we incorporate protein, fiber, probiotics, a tea to really, I say, love on your kidneys and your liver, and some things for replacements if you are at a point where you're like, okay, I don't know how I could give up coffee or soda. And we have these awesome things called fizz sticks with B vitamins and green tea that give you natural energy. And so that's kind of some of the supplements that come in your 30-day to healthy living kit. But it's so much more than that. You get personal coaching. You have a community of men and women who are doing this with you. And we generally have 150 to 250 people in each of our groups, which is awesome. So you have so many people learning with you, growing with you, posting recipes, posting struggles, posting their wins. And it's really an awesome community to be a part of. And we give you shopping lists and grocery shopping lists, and then your recipes. So I say, if you have 2 kids under 2 and 9 months was where I was, and you can just follow, hey, do this, A, B, C, like, you're going to be successful. As long as you make the decision to commit, then you just one step at a time, one breakfast at a time, one healthy snack, one lunch, one healthy snack, one dinner. And then before you know it, you blink and 30 days have passed, kind of like 1 year passes and our kids turn another year. It just blows my mind how quickly time passes. But so that's kind of the 30 days in and of itself. And so I'd love to give anybody more information, and I would be honored and grateful to walk alongside you to help you get healthy, because I know, I say this often, that if my mom and my sister had their health, then they would be alive. And I know all of you out there listening right now, like, we are still here for a purpose and a reason, and we have a mission to complete. And so if we're just half living, or we're surviving, or we're dealing with all of these migraines or body aches or just horrible symptoms that are holding us captive, then we're not really living that full, abundant life that we're called to. And so if you find yourself at that place where you're ready to get healthy and you want to, you just need help. And even like Kimberly said, right now we're about to go into Thanksgiving, which is one of the most unhealthiest meals of the whole year, but we're thankful for our families. and then all the treats with Christmas. I get it. It's tough to, maybe you are at a point. I have some women that are like, you know what? I don't want to wait till the new year. I want to start now, and I want to do it. I'm starting the day after Thanksgiving, and I'm going for those 30 days in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And some women, they're done with the excuses. They're not going to let one more meal stop them from changing their health. And then some people do want to wait for the new year to really kick things off with a strong start. So it's totally your preference.
Okay, awesome. That's great. So if you guys are just hopping on, put a 1 in the comments. And Lizzy, I forgot to tell you, I can't see the comments. So if there's anything specific you want to address, if you can see them.
I can't really either. I've seen highs.
Oh, okay. So we'll check the replays, you guys, and we'll comment on them after it's done. So put a 1 in the comments if you're watching this live, put a 2 if you're watching the replay, put new in the comments if you are new to watching me or Lizzy, and then share this video, put shared. We want to make sure to give you a shout out for that. When she's talking about gut health, you guys, a lot of people don't know that most of your serotonin, which is one of your feel-good hormones, is actually made in your gut. Because when we think about serotonin, we think of brain and happiness, but it's actually your gut. And so when she's talking about overcoming addictions and her mind being balanced with anxiety and depression, I see this in my practice a lot with clients. Almost all of them, even if they know what to eat, they're not able to keep it up because those cravings overcome them, or they're just down on themselves. And so when you eat foods that aren't kind of good for you, you kind of stuff your emotions. So her talking about the gut health and all of that stuff is critical for all of it, not just the weight loss if that's your goal, but really to get your mind right too. And also to have a good relationship with your food, which is what she's talking about. And seriously, Lizzy, my audience, these people, this is exactly what they need help with. So that's awesome. So let's shift gears and talk a little bit about the business. So a lot of you have probably heard of Arbonne before, and I'm with Monet, which is hair care. And it's kind of funny because we were laughing about this, but we are the last people that you would think that would be doing network marketing. I actually lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where Amway's from, and you would go to the gas station and people would just walk up to you and be like, do you want to join Amway? You just look so friendly. And you're just like, what? So I kind of grew up with that stigma of it. And luckily, what's so amazing is that when I went through everything I went through with, losing my job and just things being uncertain in my financial life, it made me realize that there's, like you said about there's more for you, you have more to do, but I think there's more for me where there's avenues and opportunities and ways that I can build a long-term successful business where everything I've ever done has always felt to me at any moment I could walk into work, or if I was running a business, the doors could close. I feel like the first time in my life I have control and I can see the long term, and that's what excites me. I mean, just to think like my girls are going to grow up with a mom that's like, I'm not waiting for anybody. I'm just going to go out there and do it. And so talk to me a little bit and talk to us about your kind of what sort of got you to be open-minded about network marketing, because it is a real thing. It's professional. It's where it's at. And so I challenge all of you listening, don't hop off of here because we're talking about network marketing. I challenge you just to open your heart and your mind and at least listen to it, because it could serve a purpose for you. So Lizzy, tell me about your experience with it.
Okay, so I think this is actually such a funny thing to start with in terms of the business side, because let's see, 2 years ago, if you'd ever asked me if I would do network marketing, start a business, do anything with health and wellness, it would be no, no, no. And I actually have a good friend that I was like, if I get invited to one more of these online parties and people just put me in there and they don't ask me, I'm going to unfriend them. And so this is literally, this is real. And so I feel like I totally get you guys. If you are like, oh my gosh, these people are just, it's like, it's a lot. And so, I mean, girl, I used to be afraid of it. And I think it's the same thing, just drawing those parallels. So just like I'm on a mission to bring those stigmas, break those stigmas of postpartum depression, anxiety, and as moms, we don't have to act like we have it all together, and that we're not the only ones suffering, and and really breaking those stigmas and allowing people to speak out about it. The same thing, and that's what I loved about when Kimberly asked me to partner with her, because she said, I just love the profession of network marketing, and we are moms and we are women and we are professional, and we just want to build this profession up. And you just heard her say, we don't even work for the same company, but I love her, she loves me, and we support one another because it's the same like-mindedness, and it's that same vision that we get to paint with our businesses. And so for me, what shifted me from absolutely not, no way, I would never do that. I mean, I said these things, so I probably sound like a total hypocrite. And when my friends and family, I'll never forget my first person that I gave a sample to. She was like, wait, this is from Lizzy? Are you sure? So I like sort of slid it under like, oh, this is for me. Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, so for me, what shifted that was when I became educated, honestly. And I'll say I was absolutely ignorant. I had no idea. I just believed what the world said about network marketing. And I find so many parallels with my faith journey in network marketing. And I know that might sound funny, but just in the same way that I with my faith journey, I was a huge skeptic. I was like, there's no way, after all that I've been through with losing my mom and my sister, how could there be a God out there that loves me? I mean, that was literally, and I was like, I don't want anything to do with that. And so I just didn't feel like that was going to serve me well. But again, until I learned and I knew and I grew and had that heart change. And so I would say it's the same thing. So for me, it was when I did that 30 Days to Healthy Living program that changed my life and really transformed my health, that I was open-minded to the fact of, well, what is this all about? What is this company? What is network marketing? I'd only ever believed the stigmas, that it's a scam, that people are just building, all those myths that people are just, I mean, we've heard them all.
Buying their friends or,
Yeah. And so, so I, like Kimberly just said, I decided, okay, I'm going to be open-minded, and I'm a smart, educated woman. I've been to college. I studied psychology and counseling. Like, why can't I be open-minded to something that I'm so closed off with, and I have no idea why? So anyway, for me, I think it was being a part of a company that had a change on my life to really open me up to, okay, well, what does this mean? And so that's where, you probably do something similar in your business, but we do presentations called Discover Our Bond, where we talk about our company, and our company, has been around for 37 years, and just the heritage and the roots. And we are based on European Union standards, which have way stricter ingredient policies, and ban over 1,500 toxic chemical from skincare and personal care products and nutrition products. And so learning about that, learning about the difference between retail and network marketing, how retail has to go to the manufacturer, to the warehouse, to the advertiser, and all these people, it changes all these people's hands, and all the people have to get paid along the way. But guess who's paying for that? The consumer. And guess what else the consumer's paying for? The lack of quality by the time you get it, because all along the way they had to fill it with preservatives and things to help it last a month's worth of time, or a year's worth of time, from the beginning of when it was made to when it finally got in your hands. And so, okay, I was like, that makes sense. But in network marketing, it's created and produced, and then it's shipped from the warehouse, and the point of person from the company to your doorstep, and we use UPS, is me. I get to share with you about it. And so like our 30 Days to Healthy Living, it's created, and then I share about it, and then it's sent to your door. And so that just made a lot of sense for me too. And then also just we talk about 4 factors of success, just with timing and trends, with health and wellness, everything going online. I even went to the mall today with my nieces and my nephews, that stores are closing, that most people aren't really at the mall anymore.
Things I didn't even know there's a mall still.
Yeah, I hadn't been in a year. They're like, do you ever come here? And how most things are moving online. And so, our company is right there with it. We're online. We are health and wellness. We, are creating, like you talked about, how you want to be a woman that doesn't serve your whole life building up somebody else's portfolio or dreams, and then for them to just rip the rug out from under you. you want to be able to invest your time when you want to and create, we talk a lot about time freedom and financial freedom and life of choices and creating the life by design and being able to pursue your dreams. And so, and no one's going to shut the door on that unless you do, or God forbid, your time here on earth is come to an end. And so we talk a lot about that. And then just how we are so well compensated. And one of the other things that I love, just the research that goes into every single product that we make and how it does create real results in people's lives, even as we're made from the best of plants and the best of science. And so, yeah, when I heard all of that, and then I learned the amount of income that you can make by, in a very simplified version of falling in love with someone, or not someone, falling in love with my husband, falling in love with something, referring it to a friend or a family member, and then receiving a thank you check. I was like, why wouldn't I do this? And so that's where it started for me. And I will say that it was a lot of encouragement and prayer from my husband too, because I, like I said a minute ago, I went to school to become a counselor, and I thought I would counsel in schools. And I also coached and played volleyball my whole life. And so when I became a mom, staying home, I was like, well, I don't really get out and talk to anybody. So how am I going to grow a business? But the thing is it gave me the courage and the confidence to get out there, and that it really has been the perfect intersection of coaching and counseling, because I get to walk with people. I get to coach people. I do get to counsel through some things. I love tying in personal aspects. It's not for me just like, okay, like another success story, check it off the box, let's keep rolling, who's the next one? For me, it's about creating that relationship, earning people's trust, really helping to transform their lives, and then cultivating that relationship throughout the years, and then being able to help family and friends in their spheres do the same thing. So that's kind of how it was all birthed.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. It's so amazing hearing you, because I'm like, that's me. I'm not alone. I was gonna say, I started fitkim.com in 2011, and I never made a profit. Like, people don't understand how expensive it is to have like a brick and mortar business, even if it's online, because you have to have hosting for your website. I had to create programs. I had to spend money on, technology and all kinds of things, and thousands and thousands of dollars I would spend every year, and just never made a profit. And I really just loved it. And that's what's been so nice about this, because everything is already done for you. And it's not to go, you can't think and be creative. You're still your own boss, and you get to decide what that looks like. And it's so, it's amazing just to have a team of people, and you can coach them like what you were talking about. And also too, I was gonna say, before I ask you my last question, is for me, and you can touch on this, but I have found, in order to be successful at network marketing, you have got to get your mindset right. You can't just, it's not like a job where you can just show up and get a paycheck and be like, oh good, they kept me on for 3 years and whatever, I moved on, or they let me go. And you can kind of get through, right? But not with network marketing, because there's so much mental part of it, grit. When you're talking about grit, I love that. That's a really good movie, by the way. But you have to have grit. You have to have mental toughness. And if you don't, you fall down, but then you learn, how do I get back up, and how do I get stronger? And you've got this group of people around you to coach you. I mean, it's amazing, the community and the support. And I mostly work with women and moms, and it's just awesome. Like, I feel like amazing. I don't even feel like work. It's just awesome. So to kind of finish, can you tell us, how did you balance being a mom and building a business? Because we have a lot of people that maybe are moms, or they work full-time, because I work full-time too. How did you go about building your business while also still being a mom? How did you find time for that?
Okay, yes, that's such a great question. And I want to touch on one thing before I jump into that you were talking about the community, and that I didn't experience that until after I said yes. And that what has kept me plugged in, because there's something, like you said, we have a corporate office, we have people who create marketing, we have a legal team, we have leaders out there doing all the research, all the development, all these things. And then we get to be passionate about those things because they've made a difference in our lives, and then sharing, but we get to do it. We don't do it alone. And that's something that I just never knew anything like this existed once I opened my mind and my heart to it, because it literally is we are women and we are moms on a mission to change our lives, to change our families' lives, to create a legacy, to empower the women in our lives to do the same thing, to help them find freedom. And it's just so contagious in the best way possible that that's what I feel like has the staying power, because I don't know anywhere else that will, in our business, continues to pay you. If God forbid something happens to you, our businesses become willable and we can will them to our families or our favorite charity. And then additionally, like how friends and family in this business, that we get to do this together and creating this life by design and these choices. How many people, how many of your bosses call you, hey, how's your marriage doing? How are your kids doing? How can I pray for you? How can I coach you in this? How can I help you overcome this mental roadblock that is preventing you from taking that next step into your greatness, and things like that. And when I experienced that, and I still get that way every single meeting, every single gathering, because there is something so powerful about a group of like-minded women on a mission. And that's one thing I love about our company too, was our founder's vision about if you make men millionaires, they continue to just reinvest and keep climbing the ladder and, you know, gain. But when you make women millionaires, because we have such hearts, that's where you really see the world change, because we have women in our business, and we've started this early too, is serving the homeless, serving the poor, serving the children, building orphanages, really educating and equipping and empowering children all, and women and men all around the world, that there is a healthier and better way to live. And so I love that you mentioned that. And I think it's just spot on that it really, I won't say this is easy at all, but it really does take a lot of commitment. But if you can give birth to a baby, I feel like mentally, you know how to. I loved it. One of our trainers said once, he's like, ladies, if you can give birth, like, you can do network marketing. There's nothing beyond you.
It's true. I mean,
because
it's pretty awesome.
You have to be able to get in that mindset to go through that pain. And for me, I gave natural birth because I was just on a mission to do it. But you can literally, our minds are so powerful, and that's why I love talking about mental and emotional health, and like you said, starting in our gut, but really renewing our minds, training our minds. I read truth every single morning and pray every single morning, and how you have to do that constantly and continue to fill your cup, and these women help you do that. But when you asked about balancing, I kind of giggle, because even a friend, we got together recently, and she's like, Lizzy, like, how do you do all this? You know, you have these 2 young kids and you're building this business and you serve the homeless and you do all these things. And I guess I don't, and I don't say that to be like, yay me, but I guess I feel like life is such a gift. And I know, because I'm so close to having lost, literally, I mean, if my mom and my sister were here, I can't even imagine the life that we would be living with my children, and how we would be on the same team, building the same business, just as big and wide as it ever could be, in this legacy and empire. But I know that they're in heaven and that I'm going to see them one day, but I have to continue to carry the torch. And so I guess it's not, I don't want to say like, okay, I don't think about it. I do. But it's just something inside of me and in my heart that helps me to just keep going. And I think that's kind of been a pattern we've talked about tonight. But I also am a very self-competitive person. I've played sports my whole life, and when something, I like to see it through and do it well. I don't want to commit to something and then be half. And so for me, when I decided to start this business, I knew, you know, my faith always comes first, and my husband and my marriage and my family, and I wasn't willing to sacrifice any of those things. So I think it's super important to keep your priorities in line with faith, family, and then my business. And so I always remember, as I'm praying, like, God just repeats this to me about, you know, your mission is to kingdom build, to build your family, and to build your business. And so, and for me, my business has become like my ministry. Again, it's gotten me out of the house, out of my comfort zone, out of just being so focused, hyper focused on the kids that I can't do anything else. And I laugh and say it's given me a social life back, because I never put on makeup or get dressed until I started my business. But really, I think it's just keeping those priorities in line. And I've really lately been learning setting healthy boundaries, because this is so fun and exciting, and you're changing people's lives. You literally are helping people transform their health and their wealth. And it's super like addicting in a good way. Like you're just like on an emotional high. You can't wait to help one more person, you know, just like one life at a time. And so I have to be able to turn it off. I make sure I reclaimed my Sundays back, because I slowly started to let those drift a little bit. And I'm like, no, that is my day of rest, and that is my day of connection with God. And then Monday through Friday, I can't do what I love, you know, what I love to do with this all the time, but when I can do it is certain chunks of time, and I want to do it well during those times. But I want to be present with my children, because mompreneur, mom comes first. And so, and that's taken some navigating. In the beginning, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, and this is what I want to do. But then I saw that suffer in other ways. And so really be self-disciplined, setting those boundaries, and committing to where you can, when you can, and you know, setting goals and things like that. And I mean, there's a lot that goes into that, but I'm not sure that any of us ever find like complete balance with anything. I remember a lot of people in our life group always praying for work-life balance, and this was before I ever had a job. Or, you know, I was just staying home, and I was just like, what does that even mean? Like, I can't even find balance in feeding these kids, you know? And so it gave me a new appreciation, like you said, for people that work and are moms. You know, I mean, it's hard no matter what, but it's beautiful no matter what also. And just that appreciation that, wow, like, you know, people can't, it honestly comes down to a decision. Like, do I want this bad enough? Is my, you know, time worth that enough? Is the value there enough to say yes to this? And I'm going to do it. And you're going to find a way to do it, because like we always talk about, like, if you want to find an excuse, you're going to find an excuse. But if you want to find a way, you're going to make a way, and you're going to make it happen. And so that's, I mean, that's kind of, and I don't do it perfectly by any means. And I'm still growing. I'm always a work in progress, will always be. You know, I've learned more today than I have a year ago about this business, but I just love so much the personal development that goes into it, the desire to just want to be the best version of me, so that I can serve and love others the best that I can. And ultimately, that's what it's all about for me, is sharing that hope and light and love to make an impact.
Awesome. I think you just cut out for a second. Oh, there you are. Okay, good. So your connections, we're losing a little bit, so I'll go ahead and we'll close that out. So if you guys give her some hearts, that was awesome. You are so inspiring. I love it. Thank you so much for taking the time. So you guys, she's tagged in this video as Lizzy Newton. You can message her and shoot her a message and let her know about this, and she'll set up a time with you guys for a consult, so you guys can talk about your health and all that stuff. This is the perfect time to do that. I recommend not waiting till January. I read some stats. People can gain anywhere from 5 to 15 pounds over the holidays. So don't let that be you. I'm glad we're doing this 2 days before Thanksgiving. So enjoy it, but don't go crazy. And of course, message Lizzy as soon as you can. So thank you so much, Lizzy. I really appreciate it. We'll have to do this again, and have a good night.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
You're welcome. Awesome, guys. Isn't she wonderful? I knew you guys would love her. So that was great. So if you guys watched the probably replay, if you're watching this live, drop a 1 in the comments. If you watched the replay, drop a 2. So to finish, I'm starting a private group. It's going to be for people interested in doing becoming mompreneurs. It can be women too. You don't have to have kids to be in the group, but just know that I'm going to be talking a lot about that because I'm a mom. So if you're interested, put a comment. Just put, I want to be in the group. You can message me, but I'll be opening that group up, and then I'll let you guys know when it's going to launch. It should be pretty soon here. So thank you so much for watching. She's awesome. I'm so inspired, and we're just lucky to have her. So have a great night, guys. Thanks for being on, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.